Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder 2, Napalm's newest news from a dev blog from yesterday. So much for the newest part. HMS Vanguard is here, end of an epoch, and that couldn't be a more adequate description if you tried, in so many ways. And I really like the look and the overall capabilities of the ship. It is truly a good looking ship. But there are so many things that we have to talk about that are truly important. Many ifs, many hows, and so forth. So let's get right into it. As usual, the link to the dev blog is in the video description down below. This is a big announcement. And there are many good things, but a couple of not so great things as well. So the first thing is, this is coming to Great Britain in the tech tree, as I understand, and at rank 7, which will devalue all your rank 5 premiums. And I don't want to know how much the rank 6s will cost. Yes, we will see rank 6 semi-modern battleships as premiums, and that will cost a lot of money, a dirty, filthy amount of money. So we have 8 15-inch guns, and they are the same type as you can find on the HMS Hood. Then we have really great anti-aircraft battery capabilities, high speed, maneuverability, well, that's questionable, and average armor, which means nothing, because it absolutely means how hittable your magazines are, if ready ammunition is stored in the bar beds, and how the distribution of the crew is implemented. So truly big ships are making their way into War Thunder and will settle into a new rank for blue water naval trees. So first of all, yeah, in the upcoming weeks we will have clarity at the end when looking at the dev server, when we will also look at the release of the patch. So the questions are, what happens to some of the rank 5 premiums if they get up to rank 6? If we will see the introduction of rank 7 throughout various different nations, or just a selected one, a selected few. And also if we will see a raise in top battle rating. This is really also interesting. There is no indication here yet. And yeah, let's continue. So HMS Vanguard was the last battleship ever built, this is correct, and it features, as I said, 15-inch guns and so forth. HMS Vanguard sports traditional armoring and the standard British naval 15-inch or 381mm guns that those who play Great Britain will already be used to. So the guns are the same, I guess, as we see already on ships like the HMS Hood. They are mounted in pairs of 4 turrets, 2 fore and 2 aft, and come with the standard Mark 17B APC, which I think is an APCBC round. And this is where one information might be really interesting, because this shell at the top battle rating isn't too impressive, especially when coming from only 8 guns with 30-second reload. It just misses both the DPM and the punch when shooting at distance at well-protected targets. But it might be the case, and this was issued to a handful of British battleships, but actually was never used in combat, but it was issued nonetheless, and those are the supercharges, which make certain shells just leave the barrel with higher muzzle velocity. And I talked a long time about this with Drakinifel, and from what I remember, you came close to the penetration power with the AP when supercharged to the Bismarck class 15-inch guns. And that might be quite the jump, but it's not mentioned here, so we have to just assume that you have the standard penetration of the top British 15-inch battleships. The 8 turreted twin 133mm guns are really interesting. We can see them on 1 light cruiser so far, and I really like them, especially after years of their having a really bad dispersion bug being fixed also years ago, but I still vividly remember it. They are really capable. There are somewhere between actual 5-inch 38s, but also between 6-inch guns on certain battleships as secondaries, but they are really good also when it comes to long-range anti-aircraft work, because that HEVT is great, and it has higher muzzle velocity than the 5-inch 38. The rate of fire is lower, but you also should have a radar, which is also mentioned here in the dev block. Now, one thing that I also want to mention is this ship is really good looking. It also promises good firing angles when you angle the ship, and also the secondary AA guns are 40 millimeters, and they look really good and seem to be distributed somewhat across the ship, which is great. So here we can see that it has an air recon radar and a pretty good array of hard-hitting guns. 10 6-barreled, 1 twin-barreled, and 11 single-barreled 40mm Bofors. So this is quite the rainbow of death coming in. And then one thing where I'm not quite sure what it means when it comes to the main guns, because I think this is more related to the secondaries and the light AA, and that is that you have remote power control. Now the question is, if when the guns are the same, if the turrets are also by overall design the same as the World War I mountings on HMS Hood and so forth, so that we might get faster turret rotation speed. In the introduction clip, it's not quite clear to see, but I assume it might have a bit faster turret rotation speed, which might be a massive improvement of life quality. And yeah, you can also by design fire straight forward because of a flush deck, which not all ships have. If you remember ships like the Scharnhorst, they have the Atlantic bow, which is raised a bit, and so you cannot fire straight forward with the front turret, with the first turret, and apparently this is here a bit better. Also, this is the first British battleship that reaches speed of 31 knots. Yes, it's very similar in overall firepower as far as I can see to HMS Hood, and therefore also in speed, but technically speaking it's a battle cruiser. So it will be a nice little all-rounder in the game, and is capable of acting both alone, using her speed to move out of trouble, but will be best put to use in a flotilla, providing excellent air defenses. Yeah. So yeah, the wish thinking in the minds of somebody who gets paid to write a fancy article. Yes, remember guys, they're all bloody salesmen here. Now the thing is that let's just summarize. So we have the well-known British 15-inch guns. We have 8 of them, apparently 30-second reload. There is no mention of a supercharging, which could be possible, should be possible, and would give the ship an edge. It doesn't seem to have the best of armor, and we'll have to see how it actually fares. The speed, the firepower, the AA, nothing is really that amazing as it is, but I'm glad that the British get the last of the battleship. And the only thing that's really missing in the tech tree are now the King George V class. Yes, there are some other ships missing, like some of the R class, some of the Queen Elizabeth class, and yeah, some other single ships, but overall this is nice. Now, there is another thing that I really think we have rank 7, which is nice, but there is no mention of a increase in battle rating. There is no mention of what happens to the rank 5 premiums, which are already absurdly expensive. But this will also give rise to new possibilities of event ships, you know, of top rank. We'll see about this. And all my foreshadowing when it came to talking about talismans of reward ships and if they're vital or not, depending on the rank. If they went to rank 6, I always said, yeah, there will be rank 7 one way or another in the near future or semi-near future. Yeah, I held true. And the thing is, the thing is, this is one of the big names. This is the ship a lot of people were waiting for. And we know, yeah, there is the Yamato, the Bismarck, the Ava, King George V, the Roma, and a lot of other big names that are yet to come. But the problem that I have, and forgive me when I say it, it's not this ship's final nail into the coffin of War Thunder is, on the gameplay, we will see always the same. You spawn in a traffic jam, you have absolutely not the engagement ranges that the ships were designed in mind when it comes to the immunity zones of their armor versus the enemy's intended guns or their own firepower, you know. And I think that this is a big problem. Now let's just assume this is the patch where everything gets introduced. All the wearables and honorables and freeables and tierables and whatever spaghetti boos, wet dreams get introduced in the game, you know. We have all the big names in one patch. It will be absolute chaos. It will be one hype patch. People will be unlucky about the gameplay, which hasn't changed in, dare I say, a decade. And then that's it. There is no more Joker that Gaijin can play in terms of announcing something to be introduced. Maybe a bit of fresh paint on Naval Enduring Confrontation. You know, and you know, Gaijin is so close to greatness, but it just feels like they're wasting this hard. And I could ramble on for hours about all the issues in the game that have existed for so long overall. It's laughable in many ways. Here, this is Gaijin's last chance. And so far, we haven't seen any sort of announcement. Sure, there will be some bugs being reintroduced from the second previous patch. We will see fixes and so forth, but it's not enough. The gameplay feels unrewarding, boring, repetitive, unrealistic at times. And you know, honestly, the models of the ships, they look not that terrible, but honestly, I've seen better. This is not a very well designed 3D model of the ship. It feels a touch blurry, and we should have a higher standard in 2025. Not just for the 3D model, not just for improvement of life quality, but especially when it comes to the gameplay. Because after all, no matter what you think about War Thunder, it's supposed to be a fun game. And with those fantasies crawling out of my brain, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative. If so, why not give it a like? Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the bell. For you, it's just a couple of clicks. For me, it means the world. And we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.